I am Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be doing the handover demonstration on the autotrail Commanche 2018. So coming down the driver's side of the vehicle, you've got this locker here, which is your wet locker, which opens with the square West alloy key. And to lift it up, if you just put your foot underneath and help it up. And then in here you have your two leisure batteries. Your fuses for the leisure batteries and your hook up point. So always hook the vehicle up first and then go to your source for electric and do it in reverse when unhooking the vehicle. And then you do have your grey wastewater tap there, so you can open that and drain your wastewater off, which you normally drive over a grid on the way out of the site and deposit your wastewater. And you've got storage along there as well. And then you can lock that, and then you do have your wet locker behind your kitchen. And then you've got your wheel flaps here, which you lift up, and in here this is your external shower point, where you put your shower hose in, like a hose pipe, clips in, then you'll have a trigger gun on the other end. It is just a cold water feed shower only, and make sure the pump's on to make it operate. And then you've got your, so on the keys there'll be a little key here, and that is your water key, so you can lock this flap, put a hose pipe in there until it overflows, or you can fill it with a submersible pump into an aqua roll where you turn the tank fill on and the settings on the main control panel. Moving further along, you've got your fresh water drain off point, so this is where you drain your fresh water off if you've taken on contaminated water, or you've taken on too much water and you're ready to drive away, or you're wanting to winterize the vehicle. You've got your Truma vent cover here, so make sure this is obstruction free, and this is just your flue for your boiler. And then you can open up here, and you do have your garage area there. So there's your carpets, your awning handle, your afterbar, and located down here, this is your drain off for your boiler. So this is how to winterize the boiler. So you're standing down there, stand it up, the water will drain off directly underneath the chassis. Always open the boiler in the winter, as it stops the water from freezing, and if it does freeze, it isn't covered under warranty and it's very costly to repair the boiler. So always make sure you've drained it down along with your fresh. Open your fresh and your waste, and open all the taps within the vehicle. Coming further round, you've got your high level brake light and reverse camera, obviously your spare wheels behind here, so we'd use the same key for your lockers. And you'd open this, take the cover off, take the nut off, this lifts this acrylic panel off, and then you can get access to your spare wheel. You've also got a tow bar on here with 7-pin, 13-pin electrics there, and you've got your reversal sensors along the back. See the other side of the garage, and then to lock these locks, you've got a little line, so the line goes to the back. You do a quarter of a turn with a key and tap. Locks the locks. And then coming down this side, you have got your external barbecue point where you get your gas hose and your spigot onto there, turn on and off, and this will run off the main bottle on board, so you don't have to carry a spare, and then the other end would connect to your barbecue. This is your cassette toilet, so this is where everything ends up. So you'd lift the handle, make sure the blades close firstly on the front of the toilet, otherwise this will just not come out. And then if it is short, you'll be able to lift it up, slide it out. You've got wheels on there, so you can drag it around the site instead of carrying it when it's full and heavy. And then to empty, take your cap off, push the button, tip it out at the waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside the toilet block. Once you've tipped it out, put some water in, give it a slosh and a shake around, and give it a rinse it out, and then fill this with the chemical, as this is your measuring stick, and you can see the measurements inside the cap. Cap full into here, and then it's ready to go back into the vehicle and be used. Fridge vents, storage underneath your long bench seat there, and you do have a socket, so you can use a socket in the awning in the summer. And then at the front you've got your LPG, so this is your gas locker, and to open it, pull the lever by the passenger seat belt, which releases the door. Then in here you can fit 2 bottles. So to connect the gas bottle to the pigtail, it's a left-hand thread, so opposite threads with being gas, and then you would tighten it up, and then obviously hand tighten, and then put the strap round to secure the bottle when you're travelling, and turn it off when you're on the road. Also, if you just press this green button once you've turned the bottle on for 3 seconds, so 1, 2, 3, and it allows the gas through the regulator. And to fill with diesel, it's at the passenger door, and you'd use the ignition key to release your lockable fuel cap. And then on the passenger door slam panel, you've got your tyre pressures. So front tyre pressure is 5.5 bar, and then with this being a Commanche, it's got a tag axle, so that's 2 rear wheels. So they're both, the second axle and the third axle is 3.8 bar. Your toolkit lives underneath the seat here, so this has got a jack and a brace and a torn iron, so everything you need to be towed away or change your wheel. But if you are wanting to change your wheel, I'd get someone to change it for you, especially if you've had a puncture. And then you've got your engine battery underneath the floor here, so it has to come out the cab if you ever need to change the engine battery. And your bonnet releases on the side of the dashboard there. Underneath the dashboard you'll see the various fluids. So you've got your oil filler and oil dipstick, your brake fluid. This cover lifts off and gives you access to your coolant, your power steering fluid, but the main one you're going to need is your screen wash. You've got your paint code here, so if you ever need a touch-up pen or any paint for any damage. And then again you've got your weight plate here, so 5 ton. You can tow a ton behind you with a tow bar. And you've got front and back axle weights, and this is just off autotrail, and this is off Alco, as it's on an Alco chassis, so they're both the same. You've got an earthen point there for a jump start, so that's where the black clip would go. If you put your key in here, lift this cover up, you put your red positive on there for giving or receiving a jump start. So once inside the vehicle, this is your main 12-volt control panel. So you've got your on off here, which will either give you 12 volt if you're hooked up, if you're not hooked up, sorry, and 240 volt if you are. And then below you've got your tap, which is your pump, which you must put on to use the taps within the vehicle and toilet and shower. And then below that you do have your levels, so this is fresh water 50%, wastewater 0. And at the bottom you've got your battery, so you've got your leisure battery reading of 14.3, your vehicle as 12.9, your current active battery current coming off, which is always your active battery always must be your leisure, which is 2.4, as well have a few lights on inside the vehicle. And then you've got your mains power coming in of 9.5 amp, and your solar panel current of 0.2. Obviously your solar panel will always go to sleep when you are hooked up, as this is the bigger source. And if we go back to home in the middle, you've got your lights within the vehicle, your awning light, your dimmer which dims the lights underneath your lounge seats. And then if you go to settings, you can select your battery. So active battery always must be leisure, never on smart, as it will cross over if one drops. But you want your solar panel on smart, because smart will analyze both batteries, and whatever battery needs it, it will send the solar panel charge over. You've got your tank fill, which is what I was going on about outside. So if you wanted to fill from an aqua roll, you've got to turn your tank fill on in your settings. And you do have your tank heaters below, so if it's going to be a cold frosty night, you might want to put your tank heaters on to stop the water from freezing in the tank on the chassis. Then you've got all your light settings, so you can sort your dimming lights out and so on. And you've got your screen settings, so your timeout and your backlight, and your date and time when they go back and forth, you can change them displayed on the control panel, and then you go back to the start. And next to it you do have your Thermometer heating and hot water control panel. So to turn on, you would just press and hold the wheel in the middle, and then you'll get this screen here, which is, and if you press OK, it then asks you what source. So you've got a van flashing with a thermometer in, which is the temperature of the vehicle. So to enter, you'd press OK, and then you can go from 30 degrees all the way down to off, and this is just the temperature of the vehicle. So for this we'll just say 30 degrees, and you just press OK to preset the heating at 30 degrees. And then moving further along, you've got the thermometer and the water, which is the temperature of your water. So if we go into that, you've got Eco, which is at 50 degrees, heating your water. Hot, which is equivalent to 70 degrees of heating your water, and Boost turns off the heating and prioritizes the water. So if you've got the heating and hot water on together and you put on a Boost, the heating will be turned off. So for this we'll just say hot, press OK. And then moving further along, you've got a gas bottle and some electricity symbol. This is what source you want to be running off. So you've got gas on its own, which would be used if you're wild camping and you weren't hooked up. You've got a mixture 1, which is 1 kilowatt of electric and gas. You've got a mixture 2, which is 2 kilowatts of electric and gas, which is used in the winter or if you're in severe need of heating the vehicle or water. This is the source you would want to use on, as it lowers the heating time. And then if it goes, and then you do have electric on 1 kilowatt, which you'd use on smaller CL sites, and electric on 2 kilowatts. So if you paid your site fees, you'd use electric on 2 and not waste your gas on all UK camping and caravanning sites. Moving further along, you've got your fan. So this is just the 12 volt assisted fan. So you've got Eco, which uses a lower source of the 12 volt off your leisure battery, and you've got High, which uses a higher source. So if you're wild camping, you'd use Eco. If you were on site, you could use High if you wanted. Moving further along, down to the bottom, you've got a timer in the bottom corner, which you can set. You've got the clock displayed on the main control panel, and then should you get a warning triangle in the middle, you can go to settings and go to reset, and then press enter, and it'll reset the boiler. And to turn the heating off, you just press and hold the wheel until it came up with off, and it would run through its cycle to turn off the heating and hot water control panel. To operate your domestic fridge, so you've got 3 sources here. So you've got on it, you turn your fridge on here, so press and hold turns it off, press and hold turns it back on, and then it's got to A. A is automatic energy selection, so it knows the best source to put the fridge on. So at the moment we're hooked up, we've got the gas open and a gas bottle on board, but it's gone to electric. If I was to take the hookup out, it would go over to gas, and if I was to start the engine, it would go to the battery on automatic. It would automatically switch over. So the battery setting is only when the engine is running, and it's only designed to keep the temperature as it was when departing. So the idea here is that you hook the vehicle up a day or two before you go away, let your fridge chill, put your shopping in the night before, let that chill, and then as soon as you're ready to hit the road the following morning, your shopping should be nice and chilled, and then you put on, it will automatically go on the battery, or you can manually select it if you wanted, and it would keep the shopping fresh no matter how long you travelled. And then you've got gas, which you can manually select if you wanted, but the automatic will automatically put it on to gas. But do take it in mind that the gas ignites after 20 minutes on automatic, as this is programmed so that you don't pull into a petrol station and it's going to ignite at the petrol station. So if you are wanting it to ignite straight away and you didn't want to wait 20 minutes, you'd have to manually press the gas. Here you do have the temperature and a reset button. And obviously when you are finished with the van for the season, if you do clear out all your shopping in little bits and pieces in your fridge, give it a clean out, and then the last thing you want to do is shut the door. So if you push this in, this little tab, slide the 2 nibs out, it'll stop the door from shutting and forming an airtight barrier. You do have your freezer box in there, and below you've got your fridge drawer for all your bottles of milk and so on can stand up in there. And below you've got your pan drawer, which isn't, it's just a normal drawer, so it isn't cooled by the fridge. Your table lives in the side, so you can use that in the front or outside on a nice day. And then coming round here, you do have in your kitchen area your microwave, which only works on 240 electric, and then you press eco to wake it up. And then your sink cover, that can slide in here when you're travelling, like so. And then you've got a hob with 3 gas burners, so you can turn them on. We've got 3 gas burners there. Which are all lit. And you've got 1 electric hot plate there on 240 electric only when hooked up. And below you do have your grill, which is lit. Allow the thermocouple to get warm before you release, like so. Take the grill pan and oven shelves out when you travel as well. And then in here you do have your oven, just lit like so. Take your oven shelf out, but when you're putting it back in, remember to put the hooks at the back of the oven. They don't go at the front with the flat side at the back, as they are designed to stop any food falling off the tray and going over the burner. So they're spacers for the back of the fridge, of the oven, to stop it from going over the gas burner and blocking it. And underneath are all your gas taps, which are mainly for a technician when the habitation check the vehicle.
Aircon.
So above in your cabinet where you've got your plate racks, bowl racks and cup rack, this customer's fitted a air conditioning unit to it. So this is just a fuse spur for the aircon to work, and then you can then use the remote, turn it on. Got various settings there, so you can put the lights on here, set timers, and then you've got modes, so you can choose your fan speed and your temperature, and either if it's heating or cooling the vehicle. So that's heating, and you get the lines. That's on auto, so it automatically picks the temperature, or recirculation. And you can turn it on and off like so, or you can just have the lights on an evening. In your bathroom area, to operate your toilet, so you would press the button here. This is your flush. Obviously the fans come on. To stop the fan, just press it, and once it goes to a solid light, you then can press the button. Do make sure the pump's on, and then once the pump's on, you'll be able to press the blue button and it'll flush the toilet. When using the toilet, it's always best that you flush it first to lubricate the blade. Open the slide on the bottom of the toilet, which is pushed to the right. Use the toilet, then flush the toilet, and then close the slide. It'll then tell you on here with lights when the cassette is full and requires to be changed. Got toiletry cabinet here, toiletry cabinet there, a light for the bathroom, and then you've got your skylight with a fly screen and a blackout blind, which which opens by pushing, sliding it along or sliding it into the grooves for ventilation in the summer. Obviously do make sure all your skylights and windows are closed securely before you do start travelling. To use your blinds and your windows, so to open your window you'd open, and then to keep them out you'd turn these black knobs to keep them out, loosen them off and bring it in. Do make sure it's securely fastened before you do start driving. Got a blackout blind and a fly screen. They clip together, so unclip them and then you'll be able to remove them. This customer has also fitted USBs to the back for charging. That's just your speaker for your rear sensors. Storage in there, obviously wardrobe on this side, wardrobe on that side. Storage over the bed. And all your individual reader lights in the back and in the lounge are individually switched, so you can have whichever one on you want. That's just a bigger version of the bathroom skylight, which opens the same with a blackout and a fly screen on there. So above the driver's seat is where you'll find your EC700 Sargent power supply unit. You've got all your 12-volt fuses there, which are listed here, so you'll be able to find out which fuse does what. I would take some spare fuses with you, and you've got a system shutdown button which will isolate the battery when you're not using it. And on this side, this is all your 240 sides, so you've got your various appliances on 240, so heating and hot water charger, and that is just your reverse polarity light should you ever get it. And then you've got your MCBs, trip testers and RCD there. Above you've got your satellite, MaxView satellite system, so you turn it on and off with the power. So turn on, it'll then flash all the lights until it starts flashing individually on 2, which is Astro 2. Once it goes, and then what you need to do is you need to release the satellite by pressing, and this button will start flashing until it goes to a solid light, and that goes to a solid light, and that means when the satellite is up, it's locked on, it's found the Astro in the sky, and it's found a signal. And obviously to put it down, you just put it down and then wait until it's down and turn it off. It will automatically retract when the engine or ignition or engine is put on anyway. This is also your build number, so if you need any parts for the vehicle, quote this and we'll find the best parts for your vehicle. And to work your TV, so you turn it on. Obviously this telly drops down anyway, so it's up like that. You'd loosen it off. If it was to ever get stuck, there's a release button at the back which you can release. You turn it on. You've got source, so you've got digital TV, and on digital TV what you'd do is you'd press AQT, this button here, press and hold, and then for a few seconds pointing it at the light at the top. Ask you what country you're in, just press OK. This is just going to do an auto tune and find as many channels as it can. Or what you can do is you can go to source and you can use the satellite on board. And this is the same controls, exactly the same for the TV in the back that the customers had fitted. And you've got satellite, so you've got the choice of either satellite, which will find a better signal across the area. Should you be in the top of Scotland or in the lakes, the satellites probably find a better signal than the TV aerial. But if it's too windy and you don't want the dish up, you can go onto the TV aerial. And then of course you do have the choice of going back to source and putting a DVD in the side of both TVs. And then your large skylight at the front, what you need to do is press the buttons in and release the levers, and then use the winder, and you can wind the skylight open and closed. And then you do have a fly screen and a blackout blind for on an evening. Your highline bed pulls towards you, and then you can fold the mattress over, and this creates a double bed up here. You do have the bar that goes through the fabric here and then clips on to the brackets there, so if you've got young children in there, they won't fall out when they're on the top bunk. And the lights are individually switched, so you can have them on or off with the people that are sleeping up here. Now in the cab, so to the right, sorry, of the driver, you do have your handbrake. You've got your Remus car blinds, which you pinch with your finger and your thumb and slide down. And then your windscreen ones, you would pinch again, slide them in. They are just magnetic, so if it's going to be a windy night, you might want to put something around there like elastic band or hair bobble, stop them pinging open. And you've got this same style of this blind on the passenger side. And then on the door, you've got your electric windows and mirror adjustments, which does both. So there's two adjustments on both mirrors, the top one, which is your big mirror, and the blind spot at the bottom. You've got your headlight adjustment and your rear fog lights. I'll get onto this in a minute, which is your alarm indicator. You've got your trip computer and your wiper stalk, which goes through here, tells you your average speed, your consumption, your range, and so on. You've got your lights and your indicators, and then you've got cruise control and speed limiter. It's a Comfortmatic gearbox, so you put your foot on the brake and go up for neutral, down for reverse, which brings on your rear view camera, and then you just let it go across for gears to move forward, and you tap again. So you see when it goes to 1 here in the little side, that's manual. So what you need to do, you need to tap it again until it goes to auto 1. Sometimes it goes straight into auto 1, sometimes it goes into manual, just depends. If it was in manual, then you can go up and down with the gears. And then you do have traction control, hill descent control with it being an automatic. Your hazard lights, locks the doors and the habitation door. So it locks all three, just not the garage doors. For on a night, your heated mirrors, USB for charging and a 12 volt auxiliary plug. USB and auxiliaries there for the head unit. And then you do have FM, AM and DAB radio stations, which you can save by clicking all and save your channels. Or you can go to media, which can either be a CD, Bluetooth audio or USB or auxiliary. You've got your navigation here, which is your TomTom, which you can go to clear, so you can go to navigate to, and then you can put your address in and it'll take you there. Just do be careful, this is a van sat nav, not a motorhome sat nav, so it should keep you on all the main roads. Just do be careful it doesn't take you on any roads that this motorhome shouldn't, as it's 5 ton and quite a big vehicle. And then you've got phone, so connect your phone, you go to settings, add a device. You want to find Uconnect, make sure the pins match, press pair on your device, press pair on the head unit, and then it'll ask you if you want to allow your contacts to be synced. Press yes and it'll sync your contacts for whoever rings will come up on here. You've got your lights, which you can turn on. So these will only work on the habitation leisure battery, which is disabled when the engine's running. You do have your map reading lights on the cab, fade camera assist number, alarm indicators, which is what this is for. So if you want to lock the vehicle, you just lock the vehicle and that would put the alarm on, and then you'd unlock the vehicle to take the alarm off. And these fobs are just for if the battery in the key dies, you can use the fob to arm and disarm. But if you lock the vehicle with these sensors on, as soon as you start moving around the vehicle, it's going to pick you up and set the alarm off. So what you need to do is you need to put the key in the ignition, turn the ignition on, turn it off. Within 6 seconds, if you just press and hold, it'll flash until it doesn't flash anymore. There, it stopped flashing. That's these turned off. You can then lock the vehicle It'll arm the perimeter of the van, but you can walk around inside without the alarm going off. But as soon as you put the engine on, it goes back to default and you must have to do that again.